What?
Hi, I'm Linda Beatty from Linda Beatty's Life Coaching, and this is my friend and colleague and former client and social media person, Val. And today we're talking about narcissism. So, narcissistic personality can come in lots of different shapes and sizes. There's very obvious ones, and then there's very covert ones that are very hard to pick up and very hard to spot right off the bat. So when I say, how does a narcissist draw you in? What would you say?
I would say that they're smooth talkers.
Charming.
They're charming.
They're charming.
Yeah.
They're smart.
They're smart, and I think, it's like a bit of a lure.
Right. They tell you a lot of things you want to hear. They make you feel very special. They make you feel very wanted. And this is very attractive to a trauma survivor. This is very attractive to a person who has been hurt, who is vulnerable, who hasn't gotten love in their family, who has been rejected by their family or abused by their family. This is very attractive. And narcissists also target vulnerable people. They know that they can manipulate, they know that they can sway them, and so it's almost a subconscious thing where there's some trauma bonding going on, where if you have been hurt, they will sense it. They will sense that you are vulnerable and will lure you in. What was your first clue that someone in your life might be narcissistic? What was the first thing that you saw happening?
I would say that me sensing something is wrong, and
In your gut.
in my gut, and like trying to address it, and then it's turned around to be all me,
Your fault.
my fault, and you end up believing that is true.
And do you also get, if you try to address something with a narcissistic personality, that they will get defensive, and their defense is to talk circular?
That's what I was thinking.
Your head's spinning by the end of the conversation, because they can say one thing at the beginning and then switch it up in the middle and change it at the end, and you say, wait a minute, you said this, and they, no, I didn't say that. What's wrong with you? Are you not thinking clearly?
Nope.
Are you getting a little too emotional? You have a problem. You're a trauma survivor. You're damaged. And that is something that will come further down the line. They will actually come out and start pointing out your true issues that you told them in sacred conversations.
And the empath thing too, because I am such a strong empath, and that's pretty clear and pretty obvious. So I'm affected by the way something feels, and I just would prefer for everything to be fine all the time, which is not real life. And if you end up you start to believe it really is all you, because you feel like you're damaged anyway, and well, it must be me. I guess it's me.
And systematically, over time, it destroys your self-esteem, it destroys your self-confidence, it makes you think that things are true that aren't true. And what would you say to someone who's caught right now with someone they think, what are some of the signs? We got gaslighting is one. What else? Circular talking, blaming.
Yeah, there's blame shifting, avoidance. Well, and then ultimately there's the gathering of others to prove you wrong.
Yeah, what do you call it?
Flying monkeys.
Flying monkeys. They will go to other people and tell them your vulnerabilities, what's wrong with you, and they have to live with that. And so,
they end up trying to support themselves. I think what must happen is, if there's a point where they feel like maybe they can't win it, whatever it is, they have to gather forces to prove themselves, which is not hard because they are also still very charming and believable.
Yes. And a lot of times they can be in positions of power. They can be professionals. They can be, they don't have to be, but a lot of times that is the case because they are very smart. They are very charming. And a lot of times they're very successful. How does someone who's in the mix of this, they realize, okay, they're in this situation, and it can be a father, it can be a husband, it can be a child, it can be a friend, it can be a boss, it can be the head of an organization, it can be the head of a business, it can be any area of your life it can be in. So if you find yourself in it, what would you say? What would you say to someone who's caught in that situation and they don't know what to do with it? Because you feel like you can't win, right?
Right. And I would say you need some outside help. I don't know if you can figure that out.
You always say that, Val, but okay.
But I think it's absolutely true, because how do you figure that out on your own? Also, there was the researching. There was the researching.
Yes, there's lots of stuff on this, on this subject matter.
Information. Because you start to find the truth in the information.
So when you start to confront it, you are going to get blowback. And I mean you are going to get blowback. If it's a business, you could lose your job. If you're in an organization, you could lose your position. If you're in a marriage, you could lose your husband. If you're in a family, you could be disowned. There's a lot of things that can happen when you address this. So we say address it cautiously, address it slowly, get support around you. Definitely, you've got to have a tribe of people around you to support you through this. You have to know that you're not crazy. You have to know that you're doing the right thing. Boundaries, right? We have to set up boundaries where you say, you catch...
Firm boundaries.
Firm boundaries. And every time you catch the person in your life, if it's somebody intimate versus somebody like a boss, you're going to handle it differently. So if it's intimate, you've got to set firm boundaries, and you've got to make a decision inside yourself. I am not going to tolerate gaslighting, circular talk, blaming, all these things that we talked about. You're not going to tolerate them anymore. Regardless of what you have to do, if you have to leave your job, if you have to leave an organization, if you have to, whatever you have to do, you have to set up firm boundaries. But you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot getting out. And that is really important to talk about, right? Because a lot of times we want to get away from the narcissist, or we want to stand up, tell our truth, but the blowback can be so bad that you can really get hurt.
It can be bigger. The blowback can get bigger. But I would say you do need a little space. You do need a little space to regroup.
And to get your bearings, because you will be confused by a narcissist. They will confuse you. And, you can look at people in the public eye that may be narcissistic. You can see it in something like that, but it's harder to see it when it's in your personal life. So the advice is take a step back, get people around you that can help you, set firm boundaries, and really you've got to have self-care. You've got to have strong self-care, because this is a very, very difficult situation to be in. Any final thoughts on this?
You covered it.
Okay, so we know how to recognize it, trust your gut in it, and find your way out of it. If you need help with this or anything else, please reach out to Linda Vidi's Life Coaching and Counseling. Subscribe below. Find us on Facebook and Instagram. Reach out to us. We love you. We're here for you. God bless.